Let's talk about the upper circulatory pathways. This is going to be the arterial side of things. And if we start at the heart, like we always do with arteries, we've got our ascending aorta, aortic arch, and then descending thoracic and abdominal aorta. So blood's going to start in the heart and then move away through the aorta and travel down to the lower extremities as well. But we also have 3 branches that are going to start from the aortic arch. So we can draw those in here. And going from right to left, our first branch is the Brachiocephalic Trunk, also called the Brachiocephalic Artery. Our second branch is the left common carotid artery. And the third branch is the left subclavian artery. And it's going to pass just below the clavicles. The brachiocephalic trunk is going to bifurcate into 2 vessels. One of these vessels is going to travel up to the head, and this is going to be the right common carotid artery. The second vessel is going to be the right subclavian artery. So at this point, we're symmetrical bilaterally. Blood's going to leave the heart and travel through the brachiocephalic trunk and up to the head through the common carotids, and then down the upper extremities through the subclavians. Now each common carotid artery is going to bifurcate as it gets a little closer to the head. And it's going to send one branch into the skull through the carotid canal, and this is going to be the internal carotid artery. It's going to become part of the circle of Willis, which supplies the brain with blood. The other branch is the external carotid artery, and it remains external to the skull to supply structures on the outside of the skull. We also have on each side a vertebral artery, and this branches off the subclavian and is going to travel through the transverse foramen of the cervical vertebrae. Vertebral arteries are going to ultimately join to form the basilar artery at the base of the skull and ultimately become part of the circle of Willis. So they're helping to bring blood up to the brain as well, along with the internal carotids. Now we need to get blood down to the arm. So the subclavian artery is going to continue, and as it travels through the armpit area, it's going to change names, and it's now going to be called the axillary artery. And as we continue down the upper extremity, following the path of blood flow, in the middle part of the humerus, it's going to become the brachial artery. Brachium is the name of the body region here. And at the elbow, the brachial artery is going to bifurcate into a radial artery that's going to continue down the thumb side or lateral aspect of the forearm, and then an ulnar artery, which is going to dive a little deeper and travel down close to the ulna on the medial aspect. So blood's going to flow. We see this area of bifurcation, and then radial artery indicated on the thumb side. Ulnar artery is going to be associated with the ulnar side of the forearm. So our lateral radial artery, this is also a pulse point, so you can palpate the radial artery at the wrist because it is so superficial. And then the ulnar artery on the medial aspect of the forearm. And that's our upper circulatory pathway for arteries.